Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a fun video because we are testing out some new drugstore makeup, something that never fails to put me in a good mood. I did place an Ulta order last week. I got my order in just a couple of days ago. We're going to try everything out today. I've got a couple of $5 eyeshadow palettes we're going to be testing out. I have a new brow product that looks very, very interesting. We're going to test it out and actually see if it's a dupe for one of my favorite high-end products. I've got some new lip products, a gloss, a new lip liner, lipstick, even a new bronzer and cream blush. So I'm going to show all those to you guys today. We're going to put them on, see what kind of look we can come up with, see how everything works out. I have a good feeling about this one. It's the second day of spring today and I'm kind of in a good mood even though it snowed yesterday. Before we get into the makeup, a special welcome to those of you that are new visitors to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please be sure to subscribe before you leave and also hit that notification bell if you would like to be notified every time I upload a new video. And with all of that said, I'm very eager to get into this stuff, so let's just jump right into it. Alright, so before I show you guys what I got, I do already have my foundation on. I didn't get a new foundation or concealer today, so I already put my foundation and concealer on. I used my Misha BB cream today as my foundation, and then for concealer I used my e.l.f. Original Camo Concealer. And I did apply just a little bit of powder to like my eyelids, and that was it. Haven't done anything with my brows yet, although I probably should have brushed them up before I started this video, but that's okay. We'll get to them in a minute. So why don't we start off with the face product. So I do have a new bronzer and a new cream blush, so let me show those to you guys right now. I got the Makeup Revolution Reloaded bronzer in Holiday Romance. I saw this at my Target this morning. I actually went to Target this morning in effort to pick up a brow product to go along with the other brow product that I got. Anyways, they didn't have that product in stock, and of course I am not strong enough to leave Target without buying something, so I came away with a couple of makeup products, this as well as a foundation that I ran out of, and like 7 t-shirts, by the way, this one included, which I'm thinking the size I didn't get quite right. It's not quite reaching my shoulders all the way. Well, broad-shouldered. This looks pretty interesting. I was initially thinking maybe this will be kind of like a dupe for the Flower Beauty bronzer, which is also a drugstore bronzer and quite affordable, so I mean, this thing was like $7, so I guess it's technically a little bit cheaper than the Flower. But as I'm opening it up, haven't swatched it yet, but it looks quite sheeny. Like, it looks like it has a pretty strong sheen to it, so let's just go ahead and give it a little swatch right now. I'm a little concerned about that. I'm worried it might be a little bit too glowy for a bronzer on me. I'm also a little concerned it might be a little too light. Okay, it is quite glowy. It's also quite light. We'll see. We're going to give it a try. I'm not going to judge it too prematurely. Sometimes bronzers I don't think are going to work for me end up working for me, so we'll see how that one works out. I also picked up this one I got from Ulta. It's the LA Girl Soft Matte Cream Blush. These had really, really good reviews. They only had a couple of shades available, and I went with the shade Rosebud. I think these have been around for a while. I've heard a couple people talk about them. I just haven't gotten around to trying them out yet, so we are going to do that today. You guys know I love a good cream blush. We'll see how that one compares to some of my favorites, particularly from Yes Style. I didn't get a highlighter, but we'll just pick one that I already own, and honestly, maybe this will work as both a bronzer and a highlighter. So let's start off with a little bit of this right here. I'm kind of debating which brush I should go with. Because it's going to be lighter, let's just go ahead and go with my rougher number 22 brush, mainly because I think this is going to be quite light in color. So I'm just going to kind of build it up in the brush, tap it off a little bit, and we'll see if this shows up on my fair skin. Okay, it is showing up. It's kind of pretty, actually. It's definitely glowy, but it doesn't look too glowy. Like, it doesn't look, I mean, I'm seeing some highlight right there, but it doesn't look like weird in this kind of shadowy part of my cheek, at least as far as I can tell. Kind of have a mixture of both natural light and artificial light right now. I should probably take a look at this in full natural light, because I feel like that's where you really kind of can notice some of those things, like texture more. Alright, so there is the bronzer. I'm pretty happy with it so far. It is maybe a little bit warm. I did go in pretty heavy-handed though, because I had a feeling this wasn't going to show up very well on me, so I kind of went in pretty heavy. Maybe I didn't need to go in quite so heavy. And I would imagine as I get that like tiny bit of a spring tan shade-wise, I think this will be just perfect for me. So yeah, not bad. So far so good. Okay, the thing I'm really eager to try is the LA Girl Cream Blush. Let's just take a look at this one. By the way, the price on these, this was about $7. I can't remember the price on the cream blush though. I will insert a close-up of this with the price. It does come in a squeezy tube, which I kind of like actually. Let me just show you guys a little swatch of it. Color-wise, ooh, looks like a really fun color. Okay, interesting. It's not very watery feeling. Like, it feels more of like a satiny cream blush, which is not a bad thing, but just something to be aware of. It's not going to be like super glossy or hydrating or even dewy or sticky, which again, I think it depends on your preferences. what kind of texture you like in your cream blush, whether that's a good or a bad thing. I like a lot of different textures in cream blushes. I mean, I can appreciate the differences in textures and how they would probably work for different people, and I like a lot of them, but I generally prefer something that feels very hydrating. We'll see how this one ends up applying, but this color, you guys, I think is absolutely beautiful. So I just took that swatch and kind of built it up into the brush. I'm just gonna kind of go back and forth. I don't want to get too much color on one side. I was really hoping to hold out till the afternoon to film because I have such better lighting. Like the coloring of my lighting is better in the afternoon. I need to stop talking about this. I'm probably annoying you guys because I keep talking about how annoyed I am with my color temperature, which no one thinks about color temperature except you, Mandy, and a handful of other maybe photographers or YouTube creators. But I just feel like I look so blue. I don't know. Okay, so far I really like this. It definitely doesn't have like a hydrating texture, so if you don't like something that feels sticky on your cheeks, I think this would be a really good product for you because it doesn't feel sticky in the way that, say, I'm trying to think of like a good option, like even my Honest Beauty blush, well, that one does kind of set down. It has this very kind of tacky texture. Same with the Milani one, same with the Tower 28, same with the Fenty one. I'd say that one's kind of that way too. This feels more along the lines of like my Can Make cream blushes, more like a satiny kind of texture, or even the e.l.f. putty blushes. But color-wise and formula, I think it looks amazing. So let's add a little bit of highlighter. For that, I'm just going to take something I already have. Let's take the NYX Born to Glow. This is a highlighter. If I had to go back, I would not buy this. Like, I just think there's other ones at the drugstore for a fraction of the price that are every bit as good, if not better than this one. And I don't like this side right here because it has some pretty strong glitter particles in it, which do make for really pretty inner corner highlight. But again, this thing was like 14 bucks, which I think is kind of steep, but I have it and I like it, so we're gonna use it. It is really pretty. It's really, really intense, which I like. All right, there's the finished complexion. Cheeks look gorgeous. Let's move on to the eyeshadows. Actually, wait, before we get into the eyeshadows, let's do brows first. This one I'm super excited that I finally got my hands on. It is the e.l.f. Brow Lift Clear Brow Pomade. I don't think this has been around too long, but when I saw this, I thought immediately, could that possibly be a dupe for the Anastasia Brow Freeze? I don't know yet, but you guys, even just inside the package, it looks pretty promising. So I'm really excited to try this out. How great would that be if this $6 product, I think this was about $6, could dupe my $24 Brow Freeze that I'm always raving about. Let me just open them up really quick. I'll show you them side by side. I am telling you guys, these look so similar inside the jar. Oh man, I am so hopeful. Let's give them a little touch, shall we? So, got my little brow freeze here. These feel close. Okay, let's put them in the brows because that's really the real test. So first, before I do that, I just want to fill in my brows just a bit. Let's take a little bit of my Ulta Beauty Ultra Slim Brow Pencil in Ash Taupe. Ooh, this one is just about gone. I literally have almost none of this left. So I kind of go back and forth on how I like to use the brow freeze. Typically, I'll fill in my brows first and then I'll go over the top of my brows with the brow freeze, just kind of press into my brows and then use my spoolie to kind of brush the brow freeze through, kind of set them in place. But I've also done it the other way where I put the wax in. I don't know. I honestly don't know what you would call that texture. It's not really a wax. It's not really a pomade, but I put the product in and then I'll go in and fill them in. Honestly, I think both ways work. I don't know that one way is like easier or lasts longer. They kind of end up working about the same. Not being too precise, I'm just kind of giving them a quick fill in. Now let's take, we're going to use them side by side because I really want to see how these perform side by side. I want to see if the e.l.f. one will, if they're similar in texture, I want to see if the e.l.f. one will hold as long as the ABH. So we're going to do the ABH on the right side and the e.l.f. on the left side. Let's start with the ABH Brow Freeze. Probably got a little much there. Normally I put that same amount in both of my brows. Probably should have just done one swipe, but that's okay. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, now for the e.l.f. Perhaps as I'm touching this, perhaps this one feels just like a tiny, tiny, tiny bit less sticky than the ABH, but we'll see. We'll see how it behaves in the brows. Just brush it through. Okay, so I can already tell It is a little bit less sticky and stiff. I mean, I don't know how to explain this. It's just, this one really feels like you can actually feel it like laminating against your skin. Like the hold is just a little bit stronger, I imagine, but we'll see. I'm still gonna test them out side by side. This one feels a little bit softer, but we'll see how the hold compares. As far as how they look, I feel like they look pretty similar. We'll see. I will definitely take a look at the end of the day and see how they look compared to each other, but feeling wise, this one definitely feels a lot stiffer and stickier than the e.l.f. one, which again could be a good or bad thing depending on what you're looking for. But just based on first impression, pretty darn close. I mean, I haven't found anything quite like this. This is pretty darn close so far. Keep you guys posted on how it lasts. Now that the brows are done, let's jump into some eyeshadow palettes. You guys, I've been dying to pick up a couple more of the Essence palettes. I finally picked up 2 more. The Rose, or My Rose Will Go On palette right here, and then this one, the Taupe It Up palette. They also had a nude palette that I wanted to pick up. I've seen Jessica Braun using that one more recently, but they were out of stock of that one, so that one's gonna have to wait. I will get that one at some point, but let's take a look at both of these. We'll just use one of them today, but I want to show them both to you guys, and I will insert some swatches for you guys so you can see how they look swatched on the arm. Starting with this one right here, this is the Taupe It Up palette. You guys, I'm getting serious Natasha Denona Glam palette vibes. We'll see how it performs. I'm really leaning towards trying this one out today. I will insert a close-up right here for you guys so you can see how these shadows look swatched. Let me just give them a feeling. I haven't actually swatched these yet. Oh, wow, you guys. This kind of creamy white, that is a really nice texture. Okay, nice silver. Let's look at this one down here. I'm really excited about because this is the one that's giving me the most Natasha Denona vibes. Oh yes, that looks promising. Let's try this one right here. Okay, this is going to be a good palette. I can already tell. So I'm leaning towards that one, but let's take a look at the My Rose Will Go On, which is, oh man, you guys, these names. Now that I know they're named after songs, I have to like make a note of which song it is. And Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On, I'm assuming is what this one is kind of nodding to. Quick question for any of you that were born in like the 80s, was My Heart Will Go On your prom song? Let me know down below. It wasn't actually mine, but I think it was like the year after my prom. I'm pretty sure most people, this was the prom song in like, what year would that have been? Like 2000, 2001. This one looks super beautiful as well. Oh man, you guys, I'm so impressed with these little palettes. They are so, so good. Like the quality is so good and the packaging is so good. For a palette that's under $5 for 6 shades. Like these give me serious Huda Beauty palette vibes in like a more simple way, but at a fraction of the price. Look at that. Oh, look at that shade, you guys. Oh my goodness. Look at that shade. It's like the perfect pink. Look how glossy and metallic, but like smooth that is. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards this one now. Oh boy, it's going to be a tough decision. Here's a close-up of the swatches of this one on my arm so you can see how they all look compared to each other. Again, $4.99. You know I love the Wet n Wild palettes, but a lot of you have mentioned that you're not fans of Wet n Wild for various reasons, a lot of those being their packaging, which I can totally understand. The Wet n Wild packaging is garbage. It always breaks. It drives a lot of us nuts. I can handle it, but if you can't and you're looking for something affordable that's not going to have crappy packaging, this seems to be a much better bet. I think the packaging on these is better quality. I imagine they're going to last better than the Wet n Wild ones so far they have for me. I guess time will be the test of that, but they just seem a lot more like better quality packaging, cuter packaging than the Wet n Wild ones are. So I'm sure a lot of you have already tried these out, but let's try, oh, what should we do? Let's look at them side by side one more time. What do I want to do? I feel like either one would match my shirt because this shirt is like walking the perfect line between like a taupe and a pink. I did not even do that on purpose. I bought the shirt before I'd actually opened these up. I've got to try this one though, you guys. I just want to see how closely this mimics the looks that come out of my Natasha Denona Glam palette. So we're going to go with this one today. I'll have to try this one out maybe in another video. I know I say that all the time and I almost never do because so many eyeshadow palettes, so little time. So let's start with this one. We're going with this shade right here. I imagine this might be a little light for me for a transition shade, but we'll give it a shot. I guess you could say that is the one thing. As much as I think this is a beautiful color story, I kind of wish this color is quite gray, which is not a bad thing. But if I had to choose, I'd maybe go with something more like neutral. But I don't know, we'll see. I might end up loving the gray. And I do love some of the grays, like the more gray or very obviously cool tones in the Natasha Denona Glam palette. And I think they're harder to come by. Like it's harder to come by a gray, like a mid-tone gray than it is like a tan. So as I mentioned, I was at Target this morning And I am having all these realizations lately of how old I am getting. And one of those things is that for the last year or two when I go into Target, so often the clothes that I look at, I don't understand the styles of the clothing these days. Like the boxy kind of short t-shirts, I can't get on board with those. And it makes me feel like I'm getting old every time I go into Target and I'm like, really? Is that what kids are wearing these days? And it's definitely not me. And I can't seem to like make myself go there. And then of course I look down at myself and I've got like a t-shirt and a cardigan on, which has been my style for the last like 10 or 12 years. And it just makes me question, like, am I turning into that lady that just can't stop wearing the blue eyeshadow? I don't know. It's a fine line to walk. I mean, I like to look nice, but I don't know. I don't try that hard when it comes to like the clothes that I wear. So I feel like I'm getting left behind. By the way, now I'm just going with a little bit of this gray on that same brush. I'm gonna be pretty, not too precise with this, just kind of do a little wash through the crease. Okay, I'm going to go in with this little smudge brush. I'm using my Nabla brush set. This is the, oh geez, where's the number? N204. It's just like a little kind of basic eyeshadow brush. We're going to use that gray. Actually, let's combine the gray and that kind of, I don't know what you would call that shade, like very light, creamy taupe. And we're going to use that under the lower lash line. Just to give me a little shadowing down there. I don't want it too dark. By the way, I hope you guys can't see my hands. We were down in St. George, Utah this weekend, which it's like Zion's National Park area where the dirt is bright red. And I had two boys playing a lot of baseball. And when you go down there, it is like playing baseball in red chalk. I mean, all baseball dirt is kind of red, but especially St. George dirt. There might be a handful of you if you live in Utah or maybe in like Arizona area, like northern Arizona. Maybe you've been to St. George for baseball. You'll know what I'm talking about. The St. George red dirt is like, it's brutal. So I got home and of course both my boys wore their white baseball pants and I was scrubbing baseball pants for like 2 hours yesterday to the point where like my little cuticle hair started to bleed. I told my sons, I hope you guys appreciate me. Things I do for you. Actually, I didn't even say that. I didn't complain. I love watching baseball. I know I've said this a few times. It is like, it's my son's senior year, so I'm basking in this last chance to watch him play baseball before he moves on. Anyways, let's go in with, ooh, what do I want to do? How deep do I want to go? Actually, before I do that, I'm going to take just a little bit more of that gray on this little tiny blending brush right here. I want just like a little more definition right in my crease, just right through the center there, because I don't think I'm going to do like a smoky outer corner. We're just going to do like a defined crease and then the shimmer all over the lid. Plus that is quite cool tone, so I want to make sure I use the warmest of the shades in here, this kind of warmer taupe right here that matches my shirt coincidentally. Let's take that shade and just pop that all over the center of my lid. Okay, yes, I'm totally getting Natasha Denona vibes. It is quite cool toned, but especially with that shimmer, very much giving me Natasha Denona glam vibes. Okay, let's just take a little bit of this creamy white right here. I don't do this very often, but I want to see how pigmented this is. Let's take a little bit of that and pop it under the arch of my brow to highlight my super tiny brow bone. That's all I'm going to do for the eye look. I am going to add some liner though. We're going to add like quite a bit of liner. So I'm just going to take my Wet n Wild Simma Brown Now liner. We're going to do kind of a strong, pretty smoky wing here. Because again, with the cool tones, I think using like a warmer brown liner is going to help out this eye look a little bit. Actually, let's do a little bit on my waterline as well. Sorry, I know this kind of gives some of you the heebie-jeebies a bit. Heebie-jeebies. There's another word where did that come from? I don't use that word in everyday life, but now a little bit of mascara. I'm gonna take my Tony Moly mascara. This is in my Shop My Stash. I wanted to get some use out of it. By the way, I do have an update on my Power Up mascara. I mentioned that I wanted to see how water resistant this was, say in baseball weather. It's not. I had the worst smudges on my eyelids. I had like a big smudge under here and then one on my like brow bone right here. And I looked like an idiot for all of Friday while I was watching baseball and taking pictures, and Yeah, so Snow Thrive Cosmetics mascara. Love it for every day, but not for being outdoors and watching sports or having watery eyes. Okay, that's the finished eye look. I think it looks great. Let's move on to the lips. So I did get 3 new lip products today. I got a new version of the Lifter Gloss, a new color of the Maybelline Lifter Gloss, one of my drugstore favorites. And then I also picked up a Juvia's Place lip liner. I have not tried these out, nor have I heard much about them, and I grabbed one more shade of the Juvia's Place lipstick. I love my lipstick in the shade Chic. I've talked about it a lot. It's one of my favorites. These are a little bit pricey. This was $14. I didn't get any sort of sale on these, and I can't remember how much the lip liner was. I want to say it was like 10 or 12, so not super affordable, even though it is drugstore, but I really wanted to try it. I'm kind of on a mission to find a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury lip liner. I don't know if this is going to be that thing. I feel like the reviews were very mixed. Some people said this is the best lip liner I've ever tried, and some people said this was not good at all, which tends to be the case with most makeup when I read the reviews. If you really dig deep into the reviews, you can find a good mix of everything. So here it is right here. This is a quick swatch of the shade, which is the shade Lush, by the way. Looks like a great shade. It's like a good, it's not too peach, it's not too pink, but it's also, like, it's deep, but it's not too deep, I don't think. Feels quite creamy. I'm a little worried that this might feather into my fine lines that I have on my upper lip, but we'll see. Before I try that on, though, let's swatch the lipstick and also the lip gloss. So here is the lipstick. This one is in the shade Libra. I think this is more of like a peachy nude rather than a pink nude. Oh boy, that's quite kind of maybe brownie nude. No, I don't know. We'll see. That's a little more brown than I typically reach for, but we'll see how it looks on me. I hope it goes okay with that lip liner. I feel like that lip liner will go with just about any shade if I kind of blend it out. So we're gonna try those today. And let me go ahead and swatch the Lifter Gloss while we're at it. So I got the shade Opal. I have the shade Silk right now, which is kind of, it doesn't have shimmer in it. This one looks like it does have shimmer in it. Oh boy, you know what this is reminding me of, you guys? This is reminding me an awful lot of my Fenty Sweet Mouth Gloss. Let's give these a swatch side by side. See how they compare. Oh, holy smokes. Nearly identical. This one might be a little bit more peach, whereas this one has more of a pink. But I mean, these are quite sheer and sparkly, and they have the same kind of sparkle effect. I imagine on the lips these are going to look almost identical. So if you're looking for a more affordable option for the Fenty, maybe this is a good one. Really quickly, let me just swatch the shade Silk so you can see how it compares to my previous shade, or my other shade of the Lifter Gloss. This one is a little bit more pigmented, doesn't have the shimmer in it, it's just like a pigmented glossy shade. So this is more of like a clear, this one's more of like a color. So I'm going to wipe all those off and then we will get started on my lips, see how these work for me. So let's go in first with the lip liner. I'm going to overline here on the bottom. Use a clean finger to kind of press that in. And same on the top. Again with the clean finger, just kind of press that in. Smudge it a bit. Now that is quite creamy, but it's not feathering into my lines as much as some creamy lip liners will do so far. So let's add a little bit of the lipstick. Again, this is in the shade Libra. These are a matte formula, but they're super comfortable matte formula. I'm just going to take a finger again and kind of press that into the lips. Okay, that's actually a really pretty color. I was worried it would be too brown. I'm not sure I like it with this eye look and with like a pink cheek, but if I'm doing something a little bit more warm, I think that's a really pretty nude color for me. So let's add a little bit of gloss on top of that. Maybe this will help kind of give it a little bit more of like a pink tinge. Again, this is the shade Opal. Okay, that's it for the look. Let's add a little bit of setting spray. I'm going to take a little bit of my ColourPop Pretty Fresh setting spray. Let's fan that off just a little bit with my ColourPop card. There we have it, you guys. This is the completed makeup look. What do you guys think? How do you like these products if you have tried them out yourselves? How did you guys like the taupe palette, those of you that have gotten your hands on this one, or the rose palette? I'm super eager to try this one out. As much as I'm loving this kind of more cool tone, kind of Natasha Denona glamish look, I really am excited to try out some of these pinks because I've really been into pinks for quite a while now. It's been a couple months that pinks are on my eyes most of the time. So I imagine this one will become a quick favorite for me. Let me know if you have any thoughts on any of the products, if they work for you, if they didn't. The Juvia's Place products, the cream blush, have you guys tried these out? Have you tried some of the other colors? I love this color, but I'm kind of curious to try a couple more out. I think these are really nice. And the bronzer, I'm kind of impressed with this bronzer. I'd say it's like a bronzer slash highlight. Based on just my first impression with it, even as I have more natural light coming in my window now, it doesn't look bad. I think it actually looks really nice, really kind of natural looking. Very pretty. So pretty impressed with that so far. Keep an eye out down below for an update on the brow freeze, or the brow lift as the e.l.f. one is called, the comparison. I'm gonna let you guys know how that goes, how they compare to each other. So far I feel like they're holding up pretty well. Do you think this side is maybe still a little bit more bright than this side right here? I have a feeling this one's not gonna hold quite as well, but we'll see. I'll let you guys know by the end of the day. But that's gonna do it for this video today. Thank you guys for stopping by. I hope that you enjoyed this one. I always love trying out new drugstore makeup. Let me give you one last reminder. If you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, I hope that you will do that before you leave and make sure those notifications are turned on. Thanks again, you guys. I hope that you are all doing well, and I will see you all very soon in my next video. Bye. Digging this shirt color though. It's like a blush pinky beige. This is like a shirt that is the perfect eyeshadow color, which I tend to do. Like, I'm attracted to the same colors in clothing as I am in eyeshadows. Psych. Psych. 20 years since I've used that word. Has anyone ever accidentally called emergency services with your Apple Watch?